asking.
It's a lot of breath from. Okay, I think both.
Did. Well, that's because.
Oh, okay. So I didn't see.
I pinned it.
You did. Can you post a? Yeah, I see it now. I guess it's a little bit delayed. Yeah, I think we're good to go. What do you think?
I think we're good to go.
All right. Hey guys, welcome. Happy New Year. Happy 2021.
First broadcast of 2021.
First broadcast of 2021.
New
How
year,
crazy.
welcome, welcome.
Finally. So welcome guys. My name is Marina. I'm going to be your host for this evening. I'm joined here by my fiance, Alex, who's going to be in the background.
Hello, hello everyone.
So we are going to get started in just a few minutes. Let me switch my camera views. So we're going to give you guys about 10 minutes to set up. I'm going to go over my setup here. We're doing this very lovely painting called Winter Wonderland. I don't know who named this one.
It was definitely you. It was 100% you.
Was it? Okay. So we are doing this painting tonight. I'm going to go through the supplies real quick and then we'll get started in just a few. So welcome. While you guys are joining, feel free to continue setting up, grab your drinks, grab your snacks, grab your art supplies, and we'll start in just a few minutes. Oh, and please say hi in the chat. Let us know where you're from. Let us know where you're watching this video from. Do we have any new countries or? Hi, Jackie from Nevada.
We have Canada, Oklahoma, and Texas,
Kayla.
Massachusetts, Missouri.
Got a lot of states there.
North Carolina.
Oklahoma.
Okay.
Yes, welcome. We have Canada in the house. Awesome. So I am going to go over my supplies here. So I have my 12 by 12 canvas. Alex?
Check. We were already deep into the, okay.
We are.
Just moving right along.
We're trying to be very punctual.
We're just moving right along, okay.
So I have my 12 by 12 canvas. I have my palette paper.
Palette paper, check.
I have 4 colors of paints this time.
4 checks.
So we have white, yellow, phthalo blue, and red.
I won't repeat all those colors, but check, 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 and check.
And I think this is the first time that we're using 4 colors. We always use at least 5, but this one is a little bit, I don't know what the word is, but we're only using 4 colors.
Simplicity is key.
Simplicity, yes.
Is key.
So then we also have our 2 brushes. Let me take them out. So we have our large flathead brush. So this one is a size 16. I'm trying to show it on the camera. And then we have a small round head brush. This one is a size 4. But if you guys are joining with your own supplies, you could just use any large flathead brush that you have and any small round brush that you have for the detail.
Large flathead, round, small round head. Check and check.
You're getting so good at this.
Repetition is key, as they say.
So we also have a cup with water.
Yes, we do. We have 2 cups even.
We do have 2 cups. We have a paint water cup so that we don't confuse it. Camera card. And then we also have a not water cup piece. So, but before we get to the not paint water cup, we also have a paper towel. And I think that's the last thing. Right? Am I missing something?
Check.
Awesome. And we also have our adult beverage. So tonight we are doing, Alex, what did you make me?
Tequila soda.
Tequila and soda and lime.
Classic.
Okay, classic. I like it. And what do you have?
I have a little Belvini cask, a little Caribbean cask Belvini.
Is that a whiskey, I'm assuming?
It is.
It's so fancy.
It's a single malt. I'm a fan.
Okay. So if you guys are just joining, welcome. Please say hi in the chat. Let us know where you're from. Let us know what you're drinking. So there's one thing that I did not show. So if you guys have purchased this lovely Creatively box, you could actually make an easel right out of the box, and it takes about 10 seconds or even less than that.
No way.
Yes.
Stop it.
Can you believe that? It's so crazy. So you just simply fold the lid back and you just put 2 pieces of tape on either side. And you have yourself an easel, and you could put your canvas right in here. It's so easy.
It's amazing.
Is
I
that
think
sarcasm
so.
I said?
Not even a little bit. It's excitement.
So I'm gonna say this, but I'm not sure yet. We might have a giveaway later tonight.
Oh, talk about a cliffhanger
This
teaser.
always makes Alex really, really excited. So we might have a giveaway tonight, and the way that you guys enter is by commenting in the feed. So make sure to comment, say hi, say what you're drinking, ask us questions.
So the more you comment,
The more you comment, as long as you don't spam,
the more...
the more chances you have of winning.
Oh, I also think we may have a new country.
No, we don't.
Brazil.
Brazil! Woo woo!
Welcome.
Welcome. So do we have US, Canada, and Brazil so far?
To say the very least. We have a solid representation.
That's amazing. And we have Brooklyn in the house. Welcome, Brooklyn. So we are streaming from Queens, New York.
Yeah, we are.
So before we get started, so I think it's 8:09. So we have about a minute or so. Let me know if you guys have any questions about the setup. If you have questions about the brushes or what we're using or what we're drinking, just feel free to ask in the chat and we'll be able to answer it for you. So I just want to make a couple of announcements before we start. So as you guys know, this is a free event. We've been hosting these events, I think already it's our 12th time doing
we're
this.
Going strong.
We're going strong. I think we've done definitely over 10 events so far during COVID. So we just want to provide an outlet for you guys to have fun and relax and just connect with people. So we would really appreciate some love and support from you guys. So please, first of all, hit like on our stream. And then also follow us on social media. So if you have a Facebook or Instagram account, you could follow Creatively Box.
And tag us on
And
any
tag
created
us.
work.
Yes, exactly. And then also you guys sharing how much fun you've had with your friends and family so that you help us get the word out. And then the last thing is we've also added a virtual tip jar pinned to this chat. I think Alex just confirmed.
I certainly hope so. Otherwise, I am not fit to handle this thing.
Thank you. So we appreciate any love and support that you guys give. Thank you. So I think we are ready to get started. We're actually a minute behind schedule. How could we?
I'm pretty sure that puts us right in line.
Okay, so let me just switch my views. Okay, so we always like to start with a Creatively pledge. So I'm just gonna take my large brush and I'm gonna hold it up with my right hand and you guys are gonna repeat after me. You ready, Alex?
I am so ready.
I promise
I promise
to relax and have fun,
to relax and have fun,
to not judge my painting
to not judge my painting,
or the painting of others,
especially not the painting of others,
and to be fearless.
and fearless. Boom.
Good, we're ready.
We're ready.
We're ready, so cheers. You gonna clink with me? Air clink? I don't know if this is glass. All right, guys, so the first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna mix a light blue. Does anyone know how to do that?
This is the one time
Any
I'll
guesses?
accept a pop quiz.
I feel like you know this one.
Phthalo blue, dash of white.
Yes.
Whether in those proportions, that's
So-
beyond my knowledge.
So it's actually a lot of white and just a little bit of blue.
Yeah.
But you were, I mean,
Partial
you got
credit
it. You got it.
Counts, and I'm gonna take it.
And I do want to let you know, guys, that this is your painting. So just as a reminder, you can change up any colors that you want. So if we're using blue for the sky, feel free to use pink or purple or orange. Just remember, this is your painting, so you could do whatever you want. And you could have it match your own home decor. So feel free to change it up. Okay, so I'm mixing. I don't know if you guys can see what I'm mixing. Try to show you. Okay, so this is the color that I want. I might make it a little bit darker, so just play around with it until you get a color that you like. You hear me mixing?
If I focus really hard on it, I can. I'm also very much in my own mental mixing game right here.
The best part, just mixing the colors together. Okay, so I am gonna start at the top of my canvas, and I'm just gonna go horizontally across the whole thing and add a light blue stripe. Do we need a name for this light blue color? What do you think? Or is light blue sufficient?
I was
think
gonna
it's
go
easy.
light
It's easy.
phthalo, but I knew you would
Light
not.
phthalo? I
not
feel like we could
appreciate
make it better than that.
Baby phthalo.
Definitely. Okay, so I am just adding the stripe probably till about here or so, and it doesn't need to be a perfect straight line. Feel free to get messy with it. And if you guys are painting for the first time, either with us or just in general, let us know in the chat. We really love our first time painters.
I saw a couple.
You did?
I saw at least, I want to say 2. Which is like a good
That is a
amount.
couple.
Hey, you know.
So I'm just mixing more of this color as I need. Just going in here and doing horizontal strokes all the way across.
Oh, I see a couple more.
Woohoo! Welcome, Shelly. Welcome, Stephanie.
First timers, I'm loving it.
Awesome. So you guys just want to make sure that you're covering the canvas underneath. So make sure that your paint is thick enough. So just try not to make it too watery and just make sure that you're not seeing the canvas underneath. I could actually leave this right here because I'm not doing anything here yet.
What would you say is the, like, how to balance the water? Is it add the water in as you need it if it dries out? I always
question.
get a little concerned that I'm like over watering.
Yeah, so you don't want to use too much water, but it really depends on the kind of paints you have. So with these paints, you could just add a little bit of water just to make it flow a little bit better. And you kind of just get a feel for it as you're painting. I like to use not a lot of water, to be honest.
Let the paint colors do their magic.
Exactly. So I'm just making sure to cover up this part of the canvas. And the awesome part about acrylics is that you can't really mess up because you could just paint right over it. So as soon as it dries, you just paint right over it and you cover up any mistakes that you have. So
sounds like my kind of paint.
Just relax and have fun and not worry about ever messing up. Awesome.
No requirements to stay inside the lines? What?
Well, that I don't know about.
Oh, don't ruin this for me. just let me have it for a second.
So I am gonna wash my brush and I am gonna use white now. So I am gonna take some white, and feel free to take a lot of paint. I'm kind of in here. And start another stripe underneath and go right into the blue, the baby phthalo, as Alex likes to call it.
Hey, you tell me if we have a better one and I'm willing to switch over. From an on the spot.
If you guys have a better suggestion for this light blue color, let us know. Because we keep on referring to it.
Yes, we will absolutely adopt your name, especially if it's better.
Nothing's coming to mind.
Let,
be honest.
let it marinate for a second. This has to marinate for a bit.
So we are just blending this white into the blue, and feel free to get messy with it. It doesn't need to be a perfect stripe underneath. So actually, the messier it is, so the less perfect it is, actually the better, because when you look at a sky, it never has perfect stripes, right? So it looks very natural. And you're just extending this white down a little bit, probably like a little bit less than halfway. I was trying to think of the proportions. I think a little less than halfway.
Oh, 7/15.
A little 7/15.
There you go. So under,
it was so good.
Under
How
half.
did you just come up with that?
I was going through the fractions in my head. I was like, everything else is not close enough to the middle.
And why is it 15 and not 16? Would it be 16?
Because 14 would be half. But if we add one more to make it like 49%.
No. Okay, we'll take it. Someone said sky blue. We'll take it. What do you think? I'll take it.
You can dig it.
I can dig it. So guys, the reason that we're adding this white is because we're gonna do another stripe with pink. And in order to make it blend with the blue, you kind of need to add the white in between so that way it doesn't get muddy, because otherwise it's going to turn purple. Okay, so we're... Lena's in the house. Welcome, Lena. So I'm just painting this white, and I'm letting it get more and more white as I go down. So this is, let me just take this off. So this is a little bit less than halfway, 7/15 of the way.
Had an interesting new entry, Sinatra blue.
Sinatra blue.
And ocean blue.
Wow.
I am intrigued.
I'm kind of digging that. But I already said I'm going to take sky blue, so I feel bad going back on my word.
We just need to add a little more white and we'll get to Sinatra, a little more blue, we get to ocean. There you go.
Perhaps. Okay, so now I'm gonna make a really pretty pink by mixing.
Listen, one pop quiz at a time. One pop quiz at a time.
We are gonna mix, again, we're gonna do a lot of white and just a little bit of red. So the red is really strong, so just add it little by little until you get the color that you want. So I'm just gonna take a lot of white here. I'm gonna take a little bit of red, and then if you add too much, you could always just add white back into it to change it up a little bit. And then, so this is not in my instructions over here, but I'm gonna do this.
Okay, wild card, I see you.
You ready? So I'm gonna add just a little bit of yellow to this, so it's like a little bit of an orangey pink. So just a little bit, and it's gonna look really cool. And you guys could keep mixing the color until you get the color that you like. So actually, if you don't want to use pink in your painting, you don't have to. You could use purple, you could use orange, you could continue using the sky blue. Or Sinatra blue, was it? Is that what it was? Alright, so I'm also gonna start, so I'm actually gonna start at the middle of my canvas, or maybe slightly lower, and I'm just gonna create a horizontal stripe here, so it doesn't need to be perfect. And then I'm gonna take it up into the white. And maybe into the blue. So maybe I want this color to be a little bit more pink. See what happens. So I just made it a little bit more pink, and I'm just dragging it up into the white. And you want your paint to be a little bit wet because you want these colors to mix.
It's all about the balance.
Exactly. So I'm just taking a little bit of water, I'm drying it on my paper towel, and I'm just dragging it into the white. And if you guys aren't seeing your colors mix, you could always just wash your brush and go back into it with the white or with the sky blue. All right? I think so.
I like we had a late entry as well, which is, I think, a popular one, especially for the young crowd, a little Elsa blue.
Elsa blue. Is this I love that. My favorite movie.
There's no finish.
One of.
Don't you
It
dare.
is. I know all the songs. So my horizon line is a little bit crooked, but that's okay because we're gonna cover it up anyway.
That's nature. It doesn't have perfect lines.
Yeah. So just continue mixing your colors, guys. So if you want it to be a little bit more red at the bottom of your sky, you could always just make the color a little bit darker. And then just continue playing around with how much water you're using, just so it mixes a little bit better. How's everyone doing with the blending? I feel like this is a nice beginner intro, because sometimes we start out with, you know, something that's a little bit more detailed. But
I think the last time we got intense real fast.
We did.
It was like this part was
just
the
dove
last
right
part, which was very. But sometimes that's just how it has to be done. You gotta dive into the deep end and, you know, embrace the fearless.
Exactly.
Boom.
Exactly. All right, so I'm gonna wash my brush. And I'm gonna wash it pretty well because I don't want any red on it. So I'm gonna wash it again a little bit. And I am gonna go in with yellow. Are you ready?
I was born ready.
Ready for this?
Oh, I'm so ready.
It's gonna be a little intimidating because you're not really mixing it in. So I'm gonna add a little bit of yellow here, and I'm gonna go in these curves for the sunset, sunrise, I don't know, whatever you guys want it to be. So I'm just mixing it right into the pink.
We have an intriguing question that actually raises my curiosity as well. Does temperature of the water matter? Do you usually just use cold water, or?
I use cold or like lukewarm water, but I've never tried painting with hot water. I don't know. Are there any artists in this group who've experimented with this?
Scientific
I love
creativity is just coming to fruition right now.
So I am just mixing this yellow into the pink So if it's not mixing that well, you could actually just wash your brush and go back in with some pink to mix it a little bit. So I am mixing some pink, and I'm just gonna go into this and just maybe drag out the color just a little bit. So that way it just blends a little bit more. Yeah.
Pam, have no fear. This is the paintings always come together right at the end.
They do.
With like the final detail.
Yeah, it always looks super messy at the beginning, and it looks a lot messier on my canvas than it does on the screen. But it just all comes together in the last couple of steps,
Absolutely.
usually. And also the worst thing that could happen is you'll just paint over it, right? I constantly paint my canvas white after I'm done with the painting and just start over.
Yeah,
You know.
I do that all the time too. This doesn't everybody?
So I kind of want my yellow to be a little bit brighter here on the horizon. So I'm just gonna add a little bit more yellow here, and I'm just kind of getting crazy with this texture. Like it could be textured here. So I'm gonna move this up a little bit so you guys can see like it's pretty textured. So feel free to go in with some pretty thick paint, get a little crazy. And again, guys, if you've added too much yellow, too much pink, too much sky blue, you could always go in with the other color. Just wash your brush and go right over it. So it's just really easy to fix. Right, Alex?
Indeed. What you're using acrylic paint?
I am.
There was a question, what type of paint? Didn't want to falsely speak with.
You know this.
Listen, we weren't willing to be just gamble.
I was asking how long I've been painting. So I started painting in high school, which was a really long time ago. I'm not gonna say the years. But it's been a while, and I actually took a long break when I started a corporate job, and I recently got back into it during COVID. So why is Jana proud of you?
After me?
Yeah, she said she's proud of you.
Why shouldn't you be? What are you talking about?
All right, guys, so I am gonna wash my brush pretty well because I'm going in with the sky blue Elsa color. Sky blue Sinatra Elsa color. Is that good?
I love it all.
So I am gonna go back in with the light blue. So I'm just gonna show you guys what I'm mixing here. So I'm basically doing the same color as I did before, maybe slightly darker, depending on what you've mixed already. You could just keep adding white to it or blue to it until you get the color that you desire. Okay, so then I'm just gonna go into here and maybe I'll create a little bit of hills, just a little bit hilly. And then I'm just gonna paint, ooh, this is coming out a little green. That's okay, because I'm gonna cover it up. You don't want green.
We're not going green.
We're not going green.
It's not, listen, we wish, but snow's beautiful too.
So I'm just gonna cover this. I'm gonna try to cover this up. I might need to let it dry a little bit. So I am covering this up. And I am painting the entire canvas with this light blue. So actually, guys, I just realized we missed a step. Ready for this?
Don't you dare.
Ooh, I caught it right in time. So we are actually going to create the stream first because you don't want it to be covered up with the blue. So you ready for this?
I'm so ready.
So I am actually going to take my small brush and I am going to create a red color. Or you could just use the same pink color that you had. So I'm just using like a pinkish red color.
Is it darker than the
It's pretty much the
pink that we
same
made?
/ slightly
darker?
Yeah. Than your sky color.
Roger.
So I am gonna create a stream kind of in the middle of my canvas, but you guys could put it off to the side, or you could, you could put it anywhere on your canvas. It doesn't need to be in the middle. Okay, you ready? So I'm gonna start off at the top and I'm just gonna make a wavy line going to the left, and then another wavy line going the opposite direction. So I just want to make sure that the lines meet at the top. Does that make sense?
That they converge kind of to a singular tip at the top?
Exactly.
I got it. Can this potentially be called the Babbling Brook? What are the chances? Or is it too outrageous?
I don't think anything's outrageous. I would be down with that. Okay, so now that you've created your stream, so you're basically doing two lines that are wider at the bottom and they meet up at the end. So they're kind of meeting up at your horizon line. So then I'm going to take my large brush again and I'm just going to color in this stream. I'm going to color it with the pink color that I used for the sky because it's reflecting the sky, right? It's reflecting the sunset, sunrise, whatever you want to call it.
Why they tell us water's that color, right?
So I'm just going to go in here and I'm going to color it using horizontal strokes. And it's okay, guys, if you're going outside of these lines because we're going to paint this in anyway and you could fix up the shape of your stream a little bit later. So just feel free to not worry about this shape too much. So I'm just covering it up with this pink color. But again, you guys could choose whichever color you want. If you don't like pink, you could use purple, orange, blue. It could actually make it more realistic with a blue water stream. Right?
You can't, can we rewind the live?
You can.
Can you?
Yeah. At least on YouTube you can.
I think that would be the difference. Yeah, I'm not sure on
You think?
Facebook if you can, but on YouTube.
So I'm actually not sure, guys, if you could rewind the stream on Facebook, but on YouTube you definitely can because I've done it before. So if you want to go back to another step in the beginning, you could switch over to YouTube. So it's youtube.com/creativelybox, and that way you could watch the stream on YouTube. So I am covering the stream and I'm kind of getting messy with it. I'm not really worrying about keeping it within the lines.
That's my favorite part.
And I am spilling this white all over the table.
We don't have to get into all that right now.
If you guys don't like the shape of your stream, you could always change it in the next step. So when you're covering up this white part, you could go into the stream and change up the shape of it. So don't worry too much about what the shape looks like right now. So I'm just going in here with horizontal lines, covering up the stream with the pink. All right, so now we are gonna add some shadows to the stream. Can a stream even have shadows? But we're gonna do it nonetheless. So I am gonna use a little bit of a darker pink slash red. So I'm just adding a little bit more red to my pink color. And you guys could try it out and see if it's just a little bit darker.
So you just add a little more red?
Yeah, so mine is a little bit darker, so which is perfect. So I'm just going in here and I'm just extending these horizontal strokes into the original pink color. And again, I'm not being very neat with it. So if you guys extend it too much, for example, you could always go back in with the original color and just go in the opposite direction. So maybe I want it to be a little bit darker on the other side. So I'm gonna add a little bit more red to my pink. And I'm just extending these strokes to the left side. And it doesn't have to be perfectly blended. So if you look at a close-up of mine, hold on, let me try to show you without spilling these colors on myself. So if you look at a close-up, it's not perfectly blended, and that's okay. Up a little bit, okay. So if you guys aren't able to blend very well, you could use a little bit more water. So just dip your brush in water, just dab it on your paper towel and just go back into it. So you could always add another layer of paint right over. So there's never a point where you're stuck and you can't fix it. Right? All right, so now I'm gonna add a little bit of yellow to the other side. So I don't think I need to mix it with anything. I think I could just go right into here and just drag it into the other side, depending on how wet your paint is. So that I think that actually worked. So you're just dragging it to the other side. And again, it doesn't need to be neat.
Nature isn't neat.
Exactly.
Yeah.
How is everyone doing, guys? So we've just created our stream. It wasn't as hard as you thought, right? I feel like blending colors is always a little bit intimidating at first.
At first, you just gotta get in
Yeah,
there.
you just have to do it.
Just gotta jump in.
Just have to start. I get intimidated sometimes too. Then I just tell myself I could just paint right over it. Okay, so now we are gonna go back in and we're gonna continue this light blue color. Okay, you ready? So we are gonna go back in with the light blue. And we could give you guys a couple of minutes to catch up, fill up your drinks. I think I might need a refill.
Do you need a refill?
I think I do need a refill.
Absolutely.
You're the best. we are letting you guys catch up for a little bit, and we are gonna go into this light blue color for the snow. While Alex is making me drink. And just as a reminder, guys, we may have a giveaway later tonight. So the way that you enter the giveaway is just by commenting in the chat. So the more you guys comment, the more chances of winning the giveaway, which I won't reveal till later. All right, guys, so I am gonna continue mixing this light blue color. So it's pretty much whatever you had here. It's just pretty much the same color. So I'm just gonna go back in. I'm gonna mix it. And I am gonna continue painting this light blue color, the sky blue, what were the names? Elsa blue.
We got Elsa blue, ocean blue, Sinatra blue, yes.
Those are great names. So I am just gonna continue painting this in horizontal strokes, and I'm just gonna cover pretty much the entire canvas. This is actually a really pretty sky blue color. I love it. The phthalo blue is no joke. It's so you guys can leave the part next to the stream blank, and we could go into it with a smaller brush. So I'm just gonna leave the edges of the stream right now and just get the main color down.
Does it matter if you have a horizontal or vertical stroke going?
So I prefer horizontal because you're copying the lines of the actual ground. I don't know if that made any sense.
Relatively. I think we had one person ask if these are available on the weekend.
So all of our tutorials are on YouTube, and you could just watch it anytime.
We're here on, first Tuesday of every month.
We are here on the first Tuesday of every month. The first Tuesday of January happens to be today.
Bringing it live.
And we have another tutorial coming next Tuesday of February, which that reminds me, Alex, I gotta show you the next painting. I'm so excited. So I'm just covering this up, and I'm leaving just the edges of the stream white.
Do you have a preference on the sides of the canvas?
So we're always using 12 by 12 canvas because that's what we sell in our Creatively box. So the Creatively box comes with all the supplies you need, step-by-step instructions, the sample piece as you see here. So we always send out a 12 by 12. But oh, the sides. I thought you said sides.
That's what I was like, what are you talking about?
Oh, wow.
The sides.
The sides of the canvas.
Are you painting? So
I am not, but you guys are welcome to paint the sides of the canvas with whatever color you're using for that part of the canvas. So you could actually paint it black if you want, or you could just continue to the edge of the canvas. So if you're using light blue, you could just continue it down. And you could either paint it during, while some of the parts are drying, or you could paint it afterward. If you guys really want to get crazy and be very neat about it, you could actually put pieces of tape around here and it'll be much easier to paint. You could do that after.
That's next level.
That's next level, it is.
Is there a problem if someone went to the edge of the stream?
Not
already?
at all, not at all. So we are actually gonna make the color lighter on the edges of the stream. So if you went right into the edge, that's fine because we're gonna
white.
paint. We're gonna paint right over it anyway.
Bam.
Bam. So I am gonna take some white, and you kind of want to do this while your paint is still pretty wet. So I'm just gonna take some white, and I'm just gonna do the same technique that I used for the stream, and I'm just gonna extend this white into my blue. So it doesn't need to be really neat, and we could go back in with the light blue and kind of blend it a little bit better. So we're gonna do that together in a bit. I am so excited to get to the trees because that's like my favorite part.
Patience is a virtue.
The trees and the snow, it's so much fun.
You do love a good old winter scene.
So I'm just extending this white, just going in horizontal strokes. And so here is where you could fix the edges of your stream and make it into a different shape. So let's say I want this to curve in a little bit more. I could just extend it here. I just made a little extra curve in there. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So I'm just taking the white and I'm just extending it horizontally into the blue. And it's okay if it's not blending yet because we could do that in the next step. So I'll show you guys how to blend it a little bit better. Wow, it's already coming together for some people. Pretty awesome. So we want it to be more white next to the stream, but then it blends into the blue once you branch out. So I'm actually gonna take my large brush and I'm just gonna go in with the light blue on the opposite side and try to blend it a little bit more. So let's see what happens. Nervous now?
Me? We're born ready.
So I'm just gonna take the same color that I had here and I'm just gonna go in here. I'm just gonna spread it out a little bit. So this is actually looking too white right now, so I'm just gonna make it more blue.
Gotta blend it into the blue.
Gotta blend it in a little bit more.
There you go.
So as soon as I get possibly the color that I want, I'm just trying it out here. Okay, that looks a little better. And then I'm doing the same thing on the other side. So I'm just going into it. And it doesn't have to be perfect at all. want to blend it a little bit more. So then, you ready for this? Might be a little bit more intimidating, but I think you guys can do it. Bring it. So we are gonna add the darker blue to the sides of this. So don't worry, because if you add it and it's not blending well, you could always go back in with the lighter color and just blend it in a little bit more. So I'll see what happens. I don't know. We're just gonna try it out. So I'm just gonna dip my brush into the phthalo blue. Yeah. And maybe I'll mix it into the lighter color just so it's not as intense. It's a pretty dark blue. And then I'm just gonna go in here on the edges. And I'm just gonna add some dark color here. So the dark color is basically going on the bottom of the canvas, sort of, but it's kind of spread out a little bit. And maybe I'll use just a little bit of water just to blend it a little bit more. And I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. So again, if it looks too intense, I could always go back in with a lighter color. So I'm actually gonna do that right now. So you're just going back and forth and kind of playing around with it until you get a nice balance. And it doesn't need to be perfectly blended at all, because we're actually going to be putting trees here. So this part might not even be seen, who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows?
The mystery.
This.
One of life's many mysteries.
I didn't even try out the drink that you made me. What did you make me? Is it the same thing?
Yeah. It ain't broke.
You don't want to surprise me with?
You don't change mid.
All right, so keep working on your snow until you get the desired ground that you want. Is it time to show our next painting, Alex? Because I feel like it's drying a bit. Should we do it?
You know what? Let's dive right in. Let's do it.
So guys, I do want to show you our latest painting, which is in the February box. I am super excited about it. It's a little bit Valentine's-esque, right? Like a little bit romantic.
It's got some touch to it.
It's got some touch to it.
A little class.
So this is our next painting, and it's called... Damn it, what is it called?
Something burning in flames and on fire.
The name is gonna come to me. So this is our next painting. It's gonna be we are having a live tutorial on the first Tuesday of February, which I don't remember what the date is, but we're gonna be posting the event either later tonight or tomorrow. So look out for that. It's, I guess, the perfect painting to do on Valentine's Day, right? Or maybe slightly before, something to do with your significant other.
You know,
what do you think?
Dirt, you know.
Getting
it can be a repeat.
By the fire,
they can join us.
Painting a fireplace.
They can join us for the live and then for after as well, you know.
Yeah, and it's actually really easy to do, and the bricks are super fun, and the fire is super fun. I don't think we even need a traceable for this, but I think I might make one just in case. But you don't need it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
All right, guys, so we are gonna get to some trees in the back. So I'm super excited about this.
Yes.
So these trees that are gonna go in the background, they're in the distance, so they're not detailed at all. So just don't worry about any of the details. Most of them are gonna be covered up. This is kind of just practice before you do the bigger trees. Okay? All right, so we are gonna take the same light blue color. So mine is a little bit dry, so I'm just gonna mix it again. So it's pretty much the same light blue color that you had for your background. And you could just play around until you get it. I think it's better to go a little bit light, and then you could always make it darker.
All
right,
16 by
so
20.
So we are gonna add some short vertical lines to the horizon line. So just think of where do you want your trees. So they're kind of all different lengths. They're pretty small because they're in the background.
Big brush or little brush?
I'm using my small brush, and then I'm gonna use the big brush for the foliage.
I like it.
Is that what you call it, even if it's winter? Is it still foliage? No.
That's not to dig into those details.
Yeah. And you could just add as many trees as you want here. So they're all kind of different lengths. And this vertical line is just to mark where the tree is. You're not going to see it. So just try to keep it light.
A lot of trees.
All right, I'm super excited about this part. I'm gonna take a sip before I get into this part.
Compose yourself. I like it.
I'm gonna compose myself a little bit. All right, so now we are using the large brush. So you guys are gonna take your large brush and you're gonna use the same color. So the same light bluish color. And just keep in mind, most of these trees are not gonna be seen. It's only gonna be the ones maybe in the middle, depending. So I'm just gonna pick a random line. So I guess I'm gonna start with maybe, I don't know. So I am just gonna dab my brush. So I'm using my large brush. I'm just gonna dab it in the middle and then go up and get narrower as I go up and then get wider as I go down. So this is gonna be my tree, and I'm not going all the way up. So I'm kind of leaving this tip here. And you guys could paint over this tip again if you want, if you covered it by accident. Or actually, I could just make this tree a little bit higher. So I just added this back in here. So again, do this again. So I'm starting in the middle of my line. I'm just dabbing my brush and then going narrower as I go up and then wider as I go down. My next tree. Then I'm just gonna do that for all the trees.
I'm so ready.
And then feel free to change up the length of your tree. So if you painted a short line, but for whatever reason you want it to be longer, you could just continue dabbing your paintbrush more up and then create the tip by actually using the side. So you could just create like a little point here. Dab, 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 dab down, and then going up and getting narrower. And my blue color is kind of blending into the background. It's pretty much the same color. I love this tree technique because it's so easy and it actually looks like an evergreen tree. And just remember, guys, this is in the background, so it's gonna be messy. It's not gonna have a lot of detail, so don't worry about getting detailed with it. Also, I kind of like making them a little bit slanted because sometimes, like we went hiking recently, some of the trees are completely going, you know, diagonally.
Maybe they're just swaying in the wind.
They're just swaying a little bit. Some of them are going to be overlapping, which is okay. So for the smaller guys, I kind of like to use this side of my brush instead of full on, I don't know what to call it. The tip, so it's basically
horizontal?
Yeah, so it's basically half of this tip instead, so that
the
way
longer side maybe?
I don't know what to call.
The longer side of the rounded rectangle.
Yeah, so I'm kind of using it as an angle. I'm gonna try to show you guys. So I'm kind of using one side of it a little bit, going down, getting wider, and then going up and getting narrow.
Oh yeah.
This is a lot of trees that won't be seen even. But this is nice practice for the bigger trees to come, because we're going to be using pretty much.
So we still got some big trees to come.
We do.
Okay.
Those are the most fun. How is everyone doing? How are my first time painters doing? This is not the step where it comes together yet.
For anyone still questioning it.
For anyone
We're
who's
still
like,
a
wait,
few
this doesn't
steps
look
away.
great.
Is that still your larger brush?
So this is my large brush. It's a size 16, but you could use any large flat brush. So you could use like a 1/2 inch brush, even an inch brush, depending on your canvas size. If your trees are a completely different color from your ground, you could actually go back into them with your light blue color and kind of just like go into them and blend the bottom of them. I don't really know what I did there, but kind of blending the bottom of them a little bit so they fade into the ground.
Trees are definitely not that easy to do.
These?
In general.
Have you tried it?
Not important.
I don't think so.
That's not important. I can empathize is the important part.
And most of these guys are going to be covered by the large trees, so this is just for your background and just to practice a little bit before you do the larger trees. Who is ready? Do we hold on a minute or two? How is everyone feeling? And now's the time, guys, where you could paint the sides of your canvas if you wish, because we're just letting the paint dry a little bit before we do a large tree.
Yes, who's ready? Let's.
Are you ready?
I'm ready to at least entertain the idea of the large trees now entering the fray.
I am most excited for the snow, which is actually the last step.
Agreed.
Second to last, because the last step is writing your name.
Way to ruin it.
Sorry. All right, guys. So I'm going to take my small brush again. And this time, I'm just going to use my phthalo blue. So, hold it up a little bit. So phthalo blue is pretty dark, so I'm just going to use this blue. If you're using a lighter blue, you might want to maybe mix it a little bit with either red or black to make it just a little bit darker. Okay, so I'm gonna take my small brush, I'm gonna dip it into the phthalo blue, and I am gonna make some vertical lines going up to mark where my trees are. So I'm just gonna start here. I'm just gonna do line going up, and again, it doesn't need to be perfectly straight. You could slant some of the lines because some of the pine trees are slanted a little bit, right? And maybe I'll add one on this side. So I'm gonna start the next one slightly higher because it's more in the distance. So if you want a tree to be a little more in the distance, then you start it slightly higher on your canvas and make it shorter than this line. I feel like we're doing math.
Geometry. It's all coming together now.
It's all very, very mathematical.
You understand
So
why.
if you want your tree to be farther away, you're going to start it slightly higher. So I'm going to do this one here, and then you're going to make it shorter than the one in front. So this is pretty much my tree that's going to be in the foreground closest to me. And then my next tree is going to be a little bit farther away. So I'm going to do one here, and this one's going to be a little crooked because why not? And then maybe I'm going to do two smaller trees a little bit farther away. So again, guys, if you're going into the distance, they're going to start slightly higher and end lower than the trees that are in front of you. Does that make sense? I think it makes sense.
Relatively so.
Yes, that is my wonderful fiance. All right, so I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side, but I don't want it to be perfectly symmetrical to this side because it's nature and it's never perfect. So I'm gonna start with a very tall line for the tree that's up close. And maybe I'll make it crooked.
Just because.
And then, yeah, and then I'll do a few more in the background. Maybe there's one here, and maybe there's one here. So maybe I'll do 3, maybe I'll do 4. I don't really know yet.
It's getting...
We'll figure it out. Maybe I'll do one that's like closest and it's a little bit slanted.
Going raucous on the trees. I love it.
So this is where I mapped out my trees. And you guys could have your trees closer together if you want it to be more of like a forest, and it's okay if they're going to be overlapping.
And sincerely appreciate Tina's comment.
What did Tina say?
Though not having the same amount.
Not having it be symmetrical?
Yeah. I sympathize.
It's tough, but I promise it's gonna look better. And maybe some of them are taller than the ones on the other side.
Let's not even get into it.
So then I'm gonna take my large brush. And so I'm basically doing the same technique that I did with the smaller trees, and I'm just doing it slightly larger. So I'm gonna take my large brush, and I'm gonna dip it into the phthalo blue. I'm just gonna start off with the tree that's closest to me, but you guys can start off with whichever tree you feel most comfortable. So I'm just gonna start in the middle. I'm gonna dab my paintbrush. I'm gonna go down and dab it wider. I'm gonna get wider. Feel free to leave the base of the tree, so you don't have to go all the way down if you don't want to. You could leave the trunk at the end of the tree if you want. I'm just gonna get wider, and then I'm gonna go up and I'm gonna get narrower. I'm just dabbing this. And I'm just gonna leave this tip. So I'm kind of getting a little bit wider here, and then I'm gonna get a little bit wider at the base. It's kind of starting to come together a little bit, right? So you guys can leave gaps in your tree if you want, or you could make it a lot fuller. But I really love doing this technique for the evergreen tree. So much fun, and it's just, you're dabbing a few times and it already looks like a tree. Go crazy. And I'm just making it a little bit fuller in the middle. I definitely want to cover up the vertical line that I drew. So if you guys got too wide at the top, you could always just go wider at the bottom just to balance it out. Then I'm going to do my next tree. I'm going to do the one on the left side. Again, I'm going to start at the bottom, at the middle. I'm going to dab, 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 and dab to the top and get thinner, and then dab to the bottom and get wider. And it's okay if these trees are blending into each other.
Because nature. Bro.
I feel like that's your favorite line. You have to add the bro in there.
Bruh. Keeps people.
So the reason that I'm starting in the middle is because it's easier to get wider and thinner when you're starting in the middle, because if you start at the top and you get too wide, then your whole tree is going to come out very wide. So in the middle kind of gives you a little bit more control, if that makes sense. Because then you could figure out, okay, I started a little bit narrow, and then when I go on top, it could be a little bit narrower than that, but then I could make it thicker later.
It's actually genius.
Are you lying?
Not at all. I remember as a young kid, you remember how to, like, you drew those tornadoes with, like, your graphite pencil? And mine would just end up very wide at the top because I start very, and then I'd try and get wider and wider.
I never drew a tornado as a kid.
Well, obviously,
did I miss out on my childhood?
I don't know what you were even doing then.
And as you guys are getting to the top, you're just applying very light pressure to your brush, to your canvas. So our trees are dark blue, but feel free to add green to them if you want to, so you could mix yellow and blue and make your trees green instead. I just happen to blue trees. I don't know, it just looks so peaceful and tranquil. So I'm gonna do the same thing with this tree.
Not quite.
What? Say something?
I did not. Not important. What color blue are you using?
So the blue that I'm using is called phthalo blue. And it's a pretty dark blue, but when you mix it with white, it just becomes the most perfect sky color. So this tree in the back actually just blends it in with the tree that's in the front, which is totally fine.
Right where we were going for. Boom.
All right, so I'm doing the smaller trees in the back and basically using the same technique. And maybe I want to leave the tree trunk on the bottom for this one. I know, I don't.
I agree. I'm trying
this one's a little crooked. I'm gonna do the one back. If you guys covered up the trunk with the foliage, you could always just bring it back later. Just do a little rectangle in the bottom for the trunk. So I am gonna go to the other side. I'm gonna do the same thing. So I'm gonna start with my big tree, or bold like that.
Go big or go home.
So I'm just dabbing this, and you guys could leave some gaps in the middle if you want. And again, I'm probably gonna leave this trunk at the bottom, and I'm gonna make it thicker a little bit later. how is everyone doing with their trees?
Pam is doing fantastic with her. I can see it. I'm in high anticipation for the snow now.
Are you?
Oh yeah. The only question is, does the giveaway come after the
Probably gonna.
before the snow?
Yeah.
Should we give a final reminder of how to enter?
We can.
You know,
So does that mean we're doing the giveaway? Because we were a little undecided.
we're still in the trees. You haven't finished the trees.
I know, but like we were a little bit undecided whether we're gonna do it or.
I
Yeah.
have no. Oh my god, you already mentioned it twice. I guess we got it.
We gotta. Okay. So guys, so I'm gonna say this more like assertively, I guess, that we do
Final
have a
warning.
giveaway.
Final
we do have a
warning.
giveaway later. Did I just get paint on my forehead?
We don't need to talk about it. I don't think so.
So we do. so we do have a giveaway later tonight. So the way that you enter the giveaway is by commenting in the chat. So feel free to comment. Let us know where you're from. Ask any questions you like. Just try not to spam. And we're gonna be selecting a random winner later tonight.
The more comments, the more entries.
The more comments, the more chances you have of winning.
Bada boom. Bada boom. I think we have a new country to add.
Do we?
Well,
England.
I was gonna say, unless we've had unless this is a
Okay.
different London that I don't know. Also, Mrs. Who do we have from London? Doretta, are you a Chelsea fan?
So Alex is a big Chelsea fan, and I have to unfortunately watch him
Stress.
stress at every game. And just pace up and down our apartment and yell really loud. Was that
Let's
too much information?
Let's get back to the trees.
So if you guys are having fun tonight, please hit like on our stream, and also feel free to follow us on social, on Facebook, on Instagram, Pinterest. What else do we have? YouTube. We got all the things.
Oh my God, Ida, you're just killing me. At least you didn't say Manchester United. I would have cried if you said Manchester
You just
United.
made Alex very upset.
No, it's okay. She said Manchester City, and that's like not nearly as bad. Even though they're really good, but that's not the point.
Let's not cause any divide.
This is
amongst
true.
our
This is
people.
not about the EPL over here.
So I just want to make sure that the vertical lines that I drew initially are just covered. So they're not very visible at this point. So I'm just making my paint a little bit thicker just to cover these vertical lines that I have. So I think I'm gonna go and make these trunks a little bit thicker on the bottom. So I'm just gonna take my small brush and I'm just gonna go in here and I'm just gonna make these a little bit thicker. More crooked. And this is totally optional because your trees could be full that they cover the base completely. can hardly wait for this.
I feel like we're there. We're on the
We're almost
precipice.
there. We're almost there. Precipice. Wow, good word.
Vocab, $5 word. Hello.
So I'm gonna add some shadows underneath the base of the tree. So I'm just gonna mix a color that's a little bit darker than the color I have here. So you could just experiment a little bit. It might come out too light, it might come out too dark at first, and then you could always change it up. So I'm just gonna mix, I guess, some medium blue, I don't know what to call it. And it might be too light, I don't know. I don't know yet, I have to try it out. And I'm just gonna go in here and I'm just gonna create a little hill and a little shadow and going up the base of the tree just a little bit and then extending into the lighter color. So don't worry guys if it looks too different than the base, because you could always go back in with the lighter color and just blend it in a little bit more. So I think we're gonna do that in a little bit. So I'm just gonna do the same thing here. I'm just gonna create a little hill, a little shadowy hill here. Maybe one here. And you want your paint to be kind of wet because you're gonna mix it with the lighter blue in a little bit. So I'm gonna do the same thing here. So I'm just going into the base of the tree and just blending it a little bit and creating this little shadowy hill. It actually doesn't look too bad on my screen, but then when I look at it, I'm like, oh, not very well blended.
I'm liking what I'm seeing.
So yeah, so as you can see guys, it's not the most blended, but I'm gonna go into it with the lighter color and try to blend it a little bit better. So I'm just adding a little bit of white to my color. And maybe a little bit of water to see how it blends. And then I'm just adding this lighter color here and I'm just blending it in a little bit more. Maybe I need a little bit more water. And just remember, you could always just fix anything that you create. So if you have a color that's too light, too dark, you could always go back into it with a different color. And I'm gonna do the same thing here. I'm just going in here with the lighter color. Blending this in a little bit. Maybe I'll do a little bit more. Go in here. A little bit, so you're basically covering up the shadow that you have with your lighter color. And if you don't like your shadow at all, you could like cover it up completely and just take it out. So this one's very dark and I'm just going over it with the lighter color. So I'm just basically covering it up.
What's a good blending brush?
Oh, I mean, any color would blend. What do you mean by that? I use all my brushes to blend.
So there's not a preference like the larger one over the smaller one?
No,
if you're
no,
blending
because right now I'm
together?
using my smaller one, but I used the larger one earlier on.
Touché.
You could literally blend with any brush you want. So I'm just going back in here with the lighter color and just blend in a little bit. Getting more crooked and crooked as the night goes on. Okay, so I think before we do the white, before we do the snow on the trees, I think we should do the giveaway now.
Oh, baby. Absolutely.
So let me see, first of all, if I can. Give me a second. So excited right now. Only my internet.
Shots fired.
Yeah. Copy this. Pardon my reach. Let's see if this works. That did not. Pardon my reach. Okay, so that worked. Okay, so I am gonna announce the giveaway. Where is it? So tonight's giveaway is gonna be this fancy smock that I'm wearing right now and that I wear to every event with our Creatively logo. So you could use it for painting, for cooking, for whatever else you want. So, who's ready? Alex, you ready? I feel like you're so quiet. Okay, I'm just gonna pick a random person. You ready? I'm gonna start.
I am so ready.
Okay, so. Ooh, this is gonna hurt for some people. So the winner needs to be based in the US.
Oh.
Ugh, I'm sorry.
Hard twist.
I'm sorry.
Hard twist.
Oof, I'm so nervous. Oh, okay, I'm crossing my fingers that this person is based in the US. Okay, so the winner of this giveaway of this fancy smock with our Creatively logo on it is Christine McLean. Christine, please tell me you're based in the US.
Christine, fingers crossed.
Christine, I'm rooting for you. Christine McLean, where you at, girl? All right, so if Christine doesn't answer in the next couple of minutes, we might pick a different winner. Is that fair to say?
I think that's fair. We have to be able to verify that they are in the US. Oh.
So wait, there
Oh,
she is.
no.
Oh, she's from Alberta, Canada. Oh no. Christine, I'm so sorry. We might send you something virtual later to make up for it. We're so sorry. So we are gonna pick womp womp. That's right. We're gonna pick a different winner. But Christine,
Stay tuned.
stay tuned. Stay tuned. We might do something. Okay, ready? Okay, we're gonna do one.
My heart breaks.
My heart breaks. Okay, so the next winner is Linda Gentry. Linda, where you at?
Linda?
Linda, where you at? Please be from the US.
Fingers so
Please.
crossed.
Linda Gentry.
Yes.
Yes, there she is.
Where are we
Linda,
from,
where
Linda?
are you based? Fingers crossed. Linda, let us know what state you're in. It's a state, Georgia. Yes. Okay,
There
we
we
can
go.
ship there. Yes.
Congratulations.
So you are the winner. Congratulations. You'll get this really awesome smock that you could reuse over and over again. So we'll contact you after this for your address. We're excited. Awesome.
Now it's snow time.
Okay, now it's snow time. But let me get my drink first.
Here we go.
Congrats, Linda. All right, you guys ready for the snow on the evergreens? All right, so we are gonna take our large brush again, and I'm just gonna wash it really well because we're using white. So I just want to make sure that all the blue is gone from my brush. Excited for Linda, are you?
Over the moon, as they would say.
All right, guys, so we are gonna take some white. So we're using our large brush, and I'm gonna take some white, and I'm basically gonna go on the bottom of the triangle shapes, if that makes sense, on the bottom of the layers, and I'm gonna add some white to it because when you look at a tree, most of the snow falls on the bottom of the tree layers, and then
towards
the
the
top,
tip of the
yeah,
pines
towards
on
the tip, yeah.
Got it. We got there eventually. We got there.
So I'm just gonna go in here and I'm just gonna dab my brush and just add some white. And you don't want it to be perfectly horizontally striped. You want it to be a little bit messy. So I'm just gonna vary it up a little bit. So I'm just adding the white to the bottom of some of my layers. And I could keep adding more. So I'm just gonna see what it looks like and then I could keep adding more. And this is the part where you get to define your triangular shapes. So you get to define, okay, so this pine layer looks like this. This one may be a little messier and a little wider. So you just want to make sure that it's not a perfectly horizontal line. It's a little bit messy. So again, I'm kind of starting from the middle and then I'm just working my way down and then maybe I'll go up. And then again, so this part is kind of all just one big blob of blue. So with the white, I could actually define this layer.
I'm trying so hard not to say hashtag nature.
And then if you guys used white where you didn't want it to be, so this is really easy. You could just cover it up with the dark blue again. So there's really no way to mess it up. So I'm just doing the bottom of these layers and I'm not doing a perfectly horizontal line. I'm just making it kind of zigzag a little bit. So I'm gonna work my way up a little bit. And you could make the paint thicker and just more textured in certain parts. So I just added a blob of white here, for example, and then here again. So just depending on how much snow you want on your tree. So I added another big white blob here and then maybe here. So just make sure that it's zigzagged and you're varying the shape a little bit. My tree's kind of covered with a lot of snow now.
You know,
Pretty awesome.
it was a hefty
I
snowstorm.
feel like I want to be there right now.
I feel like that's where it came from. You like missed the snow, so you felt like you needed to paint
Painted,
the lots of snow.
So I'm just adding a little bit of the snow to my top layers. So you could just get heavier with the white paint in certain areas. So I'm just adding these like white blobs in certain areas where I want it to be heavier snow. Let me know if that makes sense. So this is the first tree. So I'm gonna do some of the other trees, but just remember they're in the background, so they might not have as much details as this one. So I'm gonna start in the middle again. And again, I'm doing these zigzag lines on the bottom of my layers. Maybe this one has less snow. Who knows? So you guys could always cover up some of the layers that are in white if you maybe misplaced it or you don't want it to be there. So just let it dry a little bit and then you could cover it up with a thicker layer of the blue. I was about to. Oof, that was
Coincidentally, you have it labeled.
I did, but the label's not facing me. So I'm gonna add some of these white layers onto my other tree. And the ones in the back are probably a little bit less blobby because the white is probably going to be faded a little. So I might want to use maybe thinner paint, or I could even dip it into the blue a little bit and make like a very light blue color and then do the other one. So they kind of faded into the background a bit. So excited for the part, and it happens to be the last step. So yeah, so I think for the trees that are in the background, you could just use a color that's a light blue instead of doing thick white blobs of paint. Let's do this side now. We are using a 12 by 12 canvas, which is perfect for a gallery wall of all of your paintings.
What wall?
A gallery wall.
You know what
Actually,
that
that's what we have back here.
There you go. I didn't even know we had one.
We do have one. So there's really no such thing as too many blobs because your trees could be completely covered in snow. And I've seen this in real life where the entire tree is just white, right? You've seen that.
I have.
Yeah. So there's no such thing. It just means that it's just a little bit more snowy.
Do you have like a pencil grip going on your brush?
What does that mean?
Well, you know, like the
Like
classic.
holding it as a
yeah.
pencil? Yeah, but also I hold a pencil very weird.
You don't know the classic one and resting situation?
Wait, that's actually how I'm holding it right now.
Well,
But
there you go.
so I guess when I write, I do the two fingers on the pencil, but when I'm painting, I'm doing the normal way. Okay, that's just weird. Let's not.
You're
Wanna get
just
into
more
it?
natural when you're painting.
I
think
guess
that's all-
so.
I think that's all it means. Is that the 16 that you have?
So this is the 16. So we're just adding this white zigzags to the bottom of our layers. So I am actually using one side of the brush for these layers, but you could use the whole thing because the whole thing works as well. For some reason, my preference is to use one of the sides, so kind of to keep it at an angle, but I'm doing it right now with the whole thing and it works just the same. And I think for the blobs, it's just easier to have the angle a little
So
bit.
kind of the edge tip, not like
Yeah.
the whole.
Yeah, so you're basically using like one side of the brush.
Interesting.
But it's all a matter of preference. It's you do whatever feels comfortable to you. So I'm just adding a little bit more blobs here. Looking very snowy.
Indeed. I don't think you can ever be perfect.
So there's no such thing as perfect because I think in this process, how many mistakes have I made? A lot.
Obviously none.
So I was making mistakes along with you guys. And it's just always, there's always a way to fix it. So for these trees in the back, I'm going to try to use paint that's a little bit thinner. So maybe I'll mix it with the blue a little bit. So that way it just looks like it's more in the distance. And maybe some of these trees miss the snow, you know, like not all of them have to be hit with the same amount of snow.
Maybe they're shielded by other trees.
Yeah.
We don't know their life.
Exactly. Maybe the trees in the back don't even have any snow on them. So I'm kind of using the right side of my brush,
The right edge, or
the right edge for these blobs, because that's just my preference. It's looking very snowy here. So the paint that I'm using is Creatively. So if you guys want to get the same paint, or if you want to get the entire box with everything that you need to create this, so this can be purchased on our website, creativelybox.com. So the box comes with all the supplies you need, the canvas, the paints, the step-by-step instructions that you see here, the sample piece, palette paper, basically everything that you need to create this. And it comes with this free live tutorial that you could watch at any point.
And the box becomes an easel.
And the box becomes an easel.
Wins all around.
Mind blown.
Wins all around.
So before we go on to the last step, guys, is this the last step? I think this is the last. No, we have two more steps. But I do want to let you know that we would really appreciate you guys posting your creation on social and sharing it with us so we could see what you created. So definitely
Tag
show
us.
off what you created, tag us, use hashtag creativelybox, which is on the bottom of the screen, and show off what you created.
Be proud.
Exactly. So I think I'm gonna do, okay, so I think I'm gonna do this step next. So I am gonna take my small brush again, and I'm gonna go into the phthalo blue, or whatever blue you're using, and I'm just gonna accentuate some of the curves of the stream. So I'm just gonna go in here and I'm just gonna paint this curve here, and then maybe this curve here. And this one here, and I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So this way it just really brings out the shape of the stream. So I'm accentuating the parts that are going inward. Does that make sense? And then I could take white and I could go into the parts that are going the opposite direction. So the parts that are going outward. I would accentuate them.
Ooh, that's interesting. Don't take the stream out.
You could totally take the stream out.
Oh, that'd be super interesting to see.
And maybe you could add more trees here, so it just looks like a crazy forest.
Or even ice or something.
Ice?
I like these ideas.
Interesting. Someone asked if there's an age group for this painting. So no. So we've had kids joining this, we've had adults, we've had teens, tweens.
And
We
all
have
in
all
between.
different ages. We had toddlers joining us, so it really, well, do we have toddlers? Maybe like maybe 4 and up, I would say.
Maybe. But like, who doesn't love to see the creativity through the child's eyes?
Exactly.
bet
And
they
some of
would
the child's
have-
paintings have come out amazing.
They would have the best rendition of them all.
Yeah. And if you guys want to bring creatively to your school, to your job, to your corporate event, or whatever, we are definitely doing those.
Yeah, we are.
All right, so this is the stream. So I think it looks pretty good to me. What do you think?
I like it.
So I'm basically adding some dark outlines for the inner parts, and then I'm going over with white for the outer parts. Does that make sense?
I'm sorry, yes.
Someone is asking if we do the live videos once or many times. So for the monthly, we do the live videos on the first Tuesday of every month. So this happens to be the first Tuesday of January. So this is our live, and then it's recorded and posted on our YouTube and Facebook channels so that you could party on your own schedule. But we also offer private events. So if you have a group of 20 or more and you would like to do this live, so we're also offering that.
We do some special times too.
We do. So we just had a holiday event a couple of weeks ago, which was a little bonus. We had a Halloween event. Exactly. So I am gonna do the snow. Are you ready?
I can't even.
I'm so excited about this. This is my favorite part of the painting. And it happens to be the last step. So there are a couple of techniques for this to get the snow onto the sky and the trees and basically all over your canvas. So I like to take 2 of my brushes. I'm just gonna wash them well because I'm gonna be using white. So I just want both of these brushes to be clean. So I like to dip my large brush into the white, and I'm gonna practice on my canvas first because I want to get the hang of it a little bit before I go on to, I'm gonna practice on my palette paper first before I go onto my canvas, just to get the flow a little bit, figure out the technique, and then go onto my canvas. So I have my large brush and I have my small brush on top, kind of in a letter X. And I'm just gonna hit the small brush on my large brush, and it's gonna splatter the paint all over my canvas. So I'm just gonna practice on my palette paper first. So let me just, but fine, I'll just show you guys. So sometimes it's better to have a little bit of water on your brush as well. So once you dip it into the white paint, you could add just a little bit of water. And I'm just gonna see how this comes out. So it's like splattering all over my face. Which, yeah, it is. So this is about to get a little bit messy. So this is actually looking pretty good. So I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna place it on my canvas, and it's splattering all over my computer. Which is okay, right?
Casualties.
We're getting a little messy with this.
Casualties. That's how you know you've painted. You got a little messy with it.
You could also use a toothbrush, or you could also use just the large brush and then go like this with your finger, and it actually splatters the paint as well. So there's multiple techniques to this, and you could try it out. Let me know which one you prefer. So I actually prefer the 2-brush method, and I'm just gonna do this again. So I'm gonna dip this into white. And I'm gonna see if I need to dip it into the water a little bit. Do I have paint all over my face?
Yep.
And a fan brush is perfect for this. So you can get really crazy with this. It depends on how much snow you want in your painting. And sorry for the sounds if they're too annoying. So I'm gonna try the other technique where I just use this brush and I use my finger. Because sometimes this works really well. What? I'm gonna dip this in. I'm gonna dip it a little bit into the water. I'm gonna shake it off. Ooh. That was a crazy one. That little crazy splatter.
The heavy guy? That happens.
Yeah, so this could be stars, it could be snow, you never know. It's kind of up to your interpretation. And I don't know what to do with this. What do I do with this?
Sign it.
Okay. So I'm gonna continue adding more snow, just a little bit. And again, guys, you could practice on your palette paper or whatever palette that you're using. Seeing anything. Nothing's coming out. I don't know what's up with this brush. Okay, there we go. So this is like the crazier. Oh, okay, this is coming out pretty nice. It's also nice that it's splattered all over my computer.
Lita had a great a press and seal over your keyboard. It's
I'm scared to do this. Yeah, it's okay. So you guys could keep going with this. It just depends on how much snow you want. This is like a crazy, I don't know what this is, like a fan effect, right? Do you see this?
A fan effect?
I don't know. It looks like a fan.
At the very top of that one tree?
Yeah.
A lot of snow buildup.
Yeah, so there's a lot of snow, as you could see. And if you just let this dry, you could go over it with a light blue to cover some of it up. So for example, this fan, or if I want to cover up this shooting star, which I don't because it looks kind of cool. So just let it dry and then you could cover it up with the paint if you want to. But feel free to go really crazy with it. So then the last step, guys, I'm just going to sign my name at the bottom.
There you go.
Because that's what we need to do.
That's how we do it.
So once you sign your name at the bottom, we would really love for you to share what you created on social, tag us, use hashtag creativelybox, and show off what you created. Is that it, Alex? I think that was our final step.
We can't wait to see them again next month.
We can't wait to see you again next month. So our next live tutorial is going to be the first Tuesday of February, and we are going to post the event probably tomorrow. Ish, maybe tomorrow, maybe the day after. So watch out for that. So thank you guys so much for joining. We had so much fun tonight.
Absolutely. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you guys. Take care. Have a good night.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Bye.
Bye.